We've been watching this one a while. We see the way we don't see way. The hooped. We see Pook, Clacked, Tory, and Jerry-Oleans. They are some way we see, but they aren't anyone we say when we see. They are mostly from Anglo, and we don't count these things. Heavy are the feet we see. They have nothing, almost all. They are here to see what we see. They are not even like a we or in a band. They are some sort of a group that is loosely affiliated toward. We count them in ways they cannot predict, and we move in a very specific manner, and we expect them to see this way in time, but for now, they don't see. They have two that are very high in some manner, but we cannot see this way because they disappear long before they meet. It's like one of us was there with them and they were not the same we. There has been many attacks, and throughout this time they were not. And we see that these ones they would not see because they have nothing. But yet here they were with nothing too. I say, how come they don't see anyway? They are like bus many times, and I say, no way we. I have counted many things, and I don't think they are any way I see, and I know they were. Every time one of them gets away with something, I don't see. But I've counted so many things, and I say, look, he was clearly caught for it, and yet he gets away with it. And we go, you know what? There's two here now, and we don't see it, and they do not see it, but they make it so it's not seen. And he goes, yeah, this isn't the way we were. Who? I know it. He is not my homie. If you have any idea what we just had to say, that motherfucker is he. I know he is it. I ain't gonna forget how they were away when we saw one. And these things have not been unrecorded. They must know how virile someone's hate toward them is. And yet they go on as if nothing ever occurred. Two of us have never been seen. It always makes me crack up. I know Butt has seen you. I know Butt sees you all, and yet here you are again to be seen by me. I said this 100,000 times and they still don't get it. But I said, when they come, I will begin to knife them, and after a time they will stop. This was a problem for someone to hear, and he knew. They knew I was not seeing them, and they stopped coming, and that is the entire point. They know I'm speaking the truth, which is what they always were to we. I've seen this way before, quant, and this is something only they say. I don't know what he sees. If you know what we call the way we see, they are not to it, a way we say. Many of us can't see, and they say we should all be the ones who see. That's the basic problem in this area. None of us can see a way, and most of us know how. You would not believe the way it looks when we say we are at war. I said something the other day, and someone said, you see, but you don't. And I knew it. I knew one of them is very good, and he doesn't ever see. One of us has a problem here, and we know it. He has not been able to move forward even a single step, and they make sure he is girded to the sticking place because they see something we didn't. I said, he must be allowed to move some, and they will not see this one. He has 2 6s in his eye, and I know what it was, and it's nothing we would ever look at. It's hilarious that they think they see this way, and never again will they see it. We saw one. I know this very simply. He would not even show someone how he is, and now they are only to see he. If you have this book, man, you don't even want to be here. You know there are 3 or 4 that are too big, and they can't be seen, and everything they do is a trick to fuck someone we see. I know it was before, but here we are again seeing it the third time, and we see it. I was worried before because it might have been new and we were stupid. Now I'm looking at it like we're too stupid to see it. I've been infuriated that these people are here some days, and some days I see it as non confrontational. And I realize there is so much edging on these two people's structures. There is something so wrong with the way we see one another. I said something the other day, and he said, "You know what? We're both stealing it from the other one, and they don't see it." He said, "Yeah, but they know they don't have it." That's the entire point I've been trying to see someone for. They have some background in most of these little races we saw over a way we see it. We say, I don't know how they end up here of all places. And he says, you know what? They want them to be here. They have been placed. You can't see this erratically. They have decided to move them in a way juxtaposed to what we see. He says these ones will be able to pick up our manner. He says, yeah, I don't like that very much, but I can understand why they would see it, but they aren't like we're friends to anybody. We know who they were, and they are nothing I want around me at any time because they aren't who we were, and I knew it. They have a different set group, and we aren't where they were when they're with them. This has been the entire thing, the entire way. For some of us, we ain't who they were, and we know we ain't, and it ain't like we are. I said, I like this one, but he's not my friend, and I know it. I don't know why he wants to be like my friend, though, but then not be anything like we were friends. It's very odd how they remanner around certain people, and I realized something. This is what Bus did before Bus stopped it. Speaking of which, they are to it, and then not again, and then to it and not again. And I say, this is like double inbreeding to somebody I see before a way. And he says, if they keep doing it, we're going to have a problem. And he said, you know what? They're already all -3s to somebody. Our one buddy came through and he said, I ain't ever coming back here. You're sick. And he said, you have to stop these people from seeing one another. And now I knew not to let them administer together. There has been so many problems in this area with these attacks and other things that we see in this area. And I say, don't ever come here. And I know that it was a good place and there was many things to see. And I know it, man. There's nothing we can do about it anymore. This place is just on fire now. And I know it is. And they don't like it. I would say it's hell because it is in some way. We know we aren't wanted. We don't have a community. Our people are at each other's throats in some obscure way. And none of us are being paid. And it looks shitty. Our people used to live in hovels. These homes have finally been fixed. And people don't like it. And the sick and the administered to have none. And we know they steal from them. And it's just like, well, they got it. And it's not anything like that here. There's almost always more than enough if you put the effort forth. And they know it. They can take hands back. It's irritating to me in many levels that we can't fix this in any way. Because I think it is not meant to be. Here is one I see. And I don't like this one very much. And I go, you know what? Hey, how are you? How you doing? He will sit there and talk with me for a length of period at end and then just disappear into a mist. We see it again. Now, I said, well, why do they do this? Why do they throw a party? And then I sort of see and they go, you know what? That's exactly it. Don't go to it because I bet they try to make you sick. He said, yeah, you're probably right about that. It happens too often to these kids. Everybody knows that that's the major problem here. I had this one that came here and he wasn't any good to anybody. And here he did okay. And I said, that's really weird. And nobody can figure this out. But then when he left, they realized he had more money than them all when he was here. We didn't see it. That's weird. I have 3 or 4 of these ones and they don't ever count anything. I can't explain this for the life of me, but they have decided that they don't know how they see. And this is great. Nobody wants them around. Our mother doesn't see a way. If you know what we saw when we see this one way, they cannot possibly see it. I was worried this one time that they might know something I see because I see them there and now I see that they don't see. It was just happenstance and we see. We were worried about it, and now I know he can't even tell me what it was because he knows not to, and he sees what they see. If you're over here, just stay by yourself, and that's like the rule of hindsight. They will butt you out of control to see. I swear on everything, they record every move you ever make and make a joke list out of it, and they are trying to fuck you in some way, some obscure John Angel way that we don't see. And I'll tell you what, man, I don't like that shit at all. I swear to God, we're doing it now too. He has made one, and he has made one, and they made them look pathetic. They made them look like the most female doggish of species, and here they are doing it still. I said, hey, look, this is my man over here. And we introduced him to our good friend, and now he sees him alone, and we don't see him. And we said, God damn these motherfuckers. They only see us as our money we. And he says, this guy is pissing me the fuck off, and I knew he wasn't wanted around now. We said it, man, we ain't introduced him to nobody, and they do it too. And we know exactly what's going on back and forth, left and right. And these motherfuckers do not like who we were. I have gone to their houses before, and I just see a junk pile, and I go, yeah, that's who we are. I know it, man. I know not to see it. They have an administered way of keeping track of something. And I said, you know what they're actually doing? They're trying to make it look like we were who they were when we were it, and when we were who they were this way. He says, yeah, I know, it's like a double odd spin. He's like, yeah, why do I see it, though? He's like, yeah, I see it, too. That's sort of an issue. There's one, we don't like it at any reason, and this is the only one that seems to know who we all were. Sweeney's. I know that. There ain't no more of them. Guess what? I knew. Every single dollar that comes through here disappears instantaneously. There was a big sum of money. One of them brought an entire brick of cash and poured it out over a slow period. This money disappeared. There was nothing bought, really. A new car, maybe, a used vehicle, a small, obtainable object through normal means and work deadlines. We don't see anything like this. They spend money on drugs alone. I can't explain this for the life of me, but there is nothing left to see. Our mother says, don't go anywhere near these ones. They don't have any money. And I say, don't even count what they see. We were looking at this for a long time too, and I said, you know what? The longer we look at it, the less they make sense. He's like, yeah, they don't make sense because they aren't supposed to. He's like, you know what they are? They've been trained in a program we don't see. He's like, yeah, this is just like hog feather. You knew it. And he says, yeah, but this isn't as good. He says, yeah, that's the entire point. That's what I see. They're trying to gauge it in some way. They're trying to figure out what we count. No. They want to know who we see. They want to know what we saw. They want to have every idea of what we see too, so they can be beyond us. He's like, no, none of that. What they're doing is an experiment to see what we gain. If you know what I'm seeing, it's the same thing we always see. Who can you pay when we don't see? It keeps going. Their money isn't real, and everybody knows it. They don't really have any money. This is the weirdest detail of all. They always have $30 or $40 up to $200, and we see it. They only buy drugs and alcohol, and they party, and it's gone. And then somehow they have more than us, and it's not even a mystery in some way. I asked someone, he's like, Danny, them ever hit it big? He's like, no, what they do is they go to two places to get paid. He's like, oh yeah, they go over here to get the money, and then they go over there to sell it, and then they have double money, and they do it two or three times, and now they have money. He's like, okay, that finally made sense to me. He's like, yeah, the $35 gram bags must be around there somewhere. He's like, yeah, that's basically what it is. Can you believe that bullshit? You don't count, but it must be that many. We don't see anything we see anymore, but that one is something we didn't like to see. There's many more to see, but we don't see. You already know what's happening here. This has gone on for too long, and now we don't see it. They aren't who we were, but we don't see anyway. They have no money. We are the ones who see, and they don't see. And well, I'm not 2, I'm 3, I'm 4, I'm 5. And I said, look at these dumb fuckers. I don't like these fuckers. They are the ones who don't even count a bee, and this one's 3. He must always not be what I say. Wait, please. You know what that was, and I swear it's real. 138 times she screams. Yeah, it's normal for me. Have you known what I saw? These houses ain't cheap. I swear these houses should be the most cheap for crippled people and retardeds. I said, how are these not our houses anymore? I went over these books and I tried to figure out why we don't own these houses. It was Bill Clinton, and he sold them in some way, some obscure way we can't imagine, and we can't understand how he was ever able to do it. We talked to the dude, and he won't talk about it, and he says it's this deal they made with somebody. No matter what, it's Bob Euchre. This piece of garbage has always been here. We've been trying to get rid of that fucking retard. He won't go nowhere. If you don't see what I see, it's fine, but I mean, this is what I say. We were like looking at these guys the other day. You don't know what I see by anything? And he said, what do you mean by that? And he didn't even see a white pie. So it's like, whatever. We're not here. I was wondering, when we did one of these lights festivals, I said, you know what? If they show up to this, I'll be surprised. But you know what? I don't think they're gonna. And this is the one thing they might see. And I said, now they can't see. And that's not good. Why would they not have this way? He said, yeah, that's basically what I'm seeing the entire way here, too. Why don't they have a festival we see? It's not the Fish Fly Festival. That's a local friery here that we say. He's like, yeah, I've been crazy about that. They don't have one holiday or anything other than St. Patrick's Day, and they don't do it. He's like, yeah, that's my entire point. They just get drunk in the woods by a bonfire, and I don't like that. He's like, yeah, that's my entire point, what it is. This is the thing that they see. And I said, how come they are all like the Klan in some weird way? And I said, you know what, that's basically exactly what I should be looking at. Our people have a word for it. It's called quoft, or shit burglars.